quite often if it's sometimes even if it's somewhere where he's been, I'll get a picture up of where we're going on the phone, on my phone or the computer, because he can't remember. So quite like we'll say, oh, do you fancy going to the park tomorrow? It's like, okay then, which park? The park that's 200 yards away, Quinn. And it's like, look, but what's there? Like, and you have to talk him through how you get there. And what's there, and you show them a photo. And
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, I've never been there before. And then you get to then eventually you get to the point where you get to the park, and it's like, oh, I remember this place.
Oh, this park. Then you know, well, it'll be okay now because he knows where he is.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's so important to prepare. I mean, quite often we'll talk about if we decide we're going to go somewhere, we'll give like 2 weeks' notice to him, and we'll keep reminding him we're going there that day. We're going. It's 3 days. It's 2 days, and we do the same with Olivia as well, don't we? And it's and every couple of days I'll remind him. I'll show him a photo of where we're going, and we'll talk about it for a little bit. And it's that's for big things, and it's really difficult to get Quinn out of the house at the best of times. He's safe here, and I think especially at the weekends, he needs decompression time from school. It's it's like I know a lot of parents of autistic kids worry about their kids not socialising. It's like they spend 8 hours a day at school socialising. Why why do they need to do extra socialising? It's and if they need that little bit of decompression time, then shouldn't be an issue. It's what they need. It's what they should get. And it's kind of recognising that. I had some parents come to see me a few weeks ago. They were struggling with their child at school, and that's what I do. I talk to a lot of parents and try and support them as best I can. And they were talking about the fact their little boy had gone on an overnight camping trip with the school, which was a huge thing for him. But then they said, the amount of meltdowns that they had over the next few days, and when you got down to the nitty gritty of it, the trip had been on a Monday, so that he'd gone through this huge emotional and sensory, trauma in a way. Not to say that he didn't enjoy a lot of it, but it would have been traumatic and exhausting for him. And then he had 4 days at school, and it's like, why on earth would the school do a trip at the beginning of the week anyway? So I said to them, well, if it happens again, then recognise the fact that he needs a day off school afterwards. He goes on the trip, but he doesn't go to school the next day. He has a day off. He has a day where he can stay in bed all day and under the duvet and watch his tablet all day if he needs to. And that's recognising and anticipating that he's going to need that time off, and that's an important part of the planning process as well, is recognising what happens afterwards. Yeah. We learned the hard way with Quinn. Quinn and Albie watch Doctor Who every night before they go to bed. It's like that's the thing that they do. Gone through 10 seasons in about 5 months, haven't we? But on a day that we've been out, Quinn still has that expectation that he gets to watch Doctor Who no matter what time we get back. So if we had been, we went to the beach, didn't we? And we stayed out longer than we'd expected. Everybody was having a lovely time. And they fall asleep in the car kind of thing. And their bedtime, they go to bed at 8 o'clock. But it was about 9 by the time we got back, and then we got in, woke Quinn up, and the car came in, and he came in and put Netflix on, and we were like, no, hold on a minute, you're supposed to be going to bed. So we hadn't anticipated, stupidly, at that point, that he still needed to have his routine, no matter what the time is. And just because it didn't fit in with our expectation of what his routine should be, then, that doesn't matter to him. He needs that, and that's... And
so trying to get out as a family and do things, it would come to a Saturday. So like as a mum on a Saturday, I'd we'll wash the uniforms, and we'll go to Tesco's and Morrison's, we'll get the shopping in, and we'll do all the chores on a Saturday and everything else, and then a bit of a chill on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning it's the ironing, and it gets to Sunday afternoon, well, let's go out because it's Sunday afternoon, and then wonder why everyone freaked out. Like, well, I'm ready for a break, and I want a latte and an ice cream somewhere, and they're like, well, it's school tomorrow, and and Quinn's like, I can't go out now because I've got to come home and I've got to get ready for school. And so it's Saturday. If we're going to do something, Saturday is a better day for us to say, we're going to go here on Saturday. We can stay as little or as long as we want, but we'll be back in time for, whatever Doctor Who is. We've had things like RT before, which is reading time. It changes, but there's always a nighttime routine that has to happen. We'll be back for that. Any excuse to get out of the shower and having water touching his body is brilliant. But we'll be back. And then Sunday is your day, and whatever you want to do on Sunday, we'll have no limits on tablets or whatever. It's fine. But so there's that negotiation, but just also an understanding that if we go out on the Saturday, it gives Quinn time to enjoy it, decompress for it, and then start getting ready for school.
And going back to the what I said about projecting earlier, about projecting forward and having anxiety and overwhelm before you've even done something. I remember from being at school that I would spend the whole week, it's nearly Saturday, Saturday's getting closer, Saturday, school stops, so I don't have to worry about school. And then it gets to Saturday, and then you start thinking, Sunday tomorrow, then the next day school, Sunday tomorrow and the next day, and then you start work. So there's a period, there was a period on a Saturday kind of morning for me where I didn't worry about anything, and then the anxiety slowly started to creep back in and build and build and build and build. And then in the midst of that, my mum would come in and say, you have to come shopping with me, or you have to do that, and it's kind of, so I did it, and everything that I felt kind of got crammed back down inside me, and it's, and parents wonder why their autistic children can't cope, and it's, but it's like, take a step back, think about what's going through their heads.
And not everyone's got support.
No.
And me and Kieran,
we don't have any support, really, do we?
Don't have it like huge. We're just like one with my mum who lives close, but yeah, I'll always go and pretty much do the weekly shop by myself.
Or we'll go in the week when the kids are at school.
The week when the kids are at school, so it's like don't it's like, when I need to go and do the shop on Saturday, I can never get him out. Well, if you can get someone to look after him or drop him at a friend's, or try and work around it, because not only does it help your child, but it makes your life so much easier. And if you end up then going to do the weekly shop and become a ninja and do it in 40 minutes, you can have a quiet coffee by yourself, like win, rather than it taking you 2 hours by the time you get them in the car and drag them, and then they have a meltdown in the pizza aisle and everyone's looking at you. It's just like, try and, what Kieran said before, do what works for you. Yeah,
and what works for your child.
What works for your child, what works for your family.
And again, it comes back to educating yourself as well. And it's kind of, I get a lot of parents kind of who feel like that they're butt up against a brick wall or something, they can't think of a way around it. Go and talk to some autistic people, ask them how they felt when they were going through this and when this was happening to them. And then that gives you a different perspective on it. And you can think, oh, actually, that really makes sense. And that I see that happen so often. And but it kind of, first resort for a lot of parents is to go on Facebook and talk to other parents who kind of reinforce their negativity, and or B, they go and talk to a professional who says, well, you have to use this flashcard and you have to use a timetable, and and it's kind of, go and talk to some autistic people. They'll give you so much better advice, and it's because we've lived it, and that's the important thing to remember. So educate yourselves.